In this video clip, I will walk you through some of the more advanced options available on the ADX5 Professional Server Edition client. I will explain how the features can be used and how you can fine-tune your client configuration to meet your requirements. Let's start by opening the Options pane. In the version 6 Server Edition client, select Tools and Options. The majority of the client settings can be configured within this pane. I will start at the top and work my way down, detailing more information with each of the advanced options. Backup account, group, and storage platform information can be seen and updated on the Account and Security page. Please remember to keep your password and encryption key safe, as you will need that information to retrieve your data. Enhanced Security here enables you to prompt for the password to restore data, as well as each time the client is opened. The Connections page provides you with Internet and proxy server configuration settings. Let's have a look at the Backup Schedule page in a little more detail. In version 6, we now have the ability to specify multiple backup sets. These backup sets can be scheduled individually with to-the-minute backup times. For example, my default backup set contains a full backup of all of the data on my Exchange server. I would like my default backup set to back up at 9 p.m. every day, only backing up the databases. In addition to that, I would like to run a backup of my default backup set on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at lunchtime using the Advanced Schedule option. I have configured an additional backup set that only backs up the system state. I would like to run this backup every day at 6 p.m. so that it completes before my Exchange backup begins. In this way, I can create multiple schedules and backup sets to run in a flexible and customized way to suit my needs. If your storage platform is located on a remote site, for example, you may want to throttle back the bandwidth available to ADX5 Pro during the day to allow other traffic like VoIP or email, for example, to take precedence. Here I'm going to set the limit to 50 kilobytes per second and then apply that limit to the throttle map. The times shown in turquoise and orange have no restriction, and those in green are restricted to 50 kilobytes per second. Changing the time interval allocated to each of these blocks gives me even more control, down to 15-minute intervals. You are able to have multiple throughput speeds at different times. The display page allows you to set how folders and file types are viewed in the client. The disk usage page allows you to configure the location of the working folders. If you decide to move them, remember that all 4 folders should reside on the same volume. The setting here for the cache allows you to change the number of days your data should remain in local cache since it was last modified. If a file is not in local cache when a backup runs, the complete file will be sent to the storage platform. Files that do reside in cache can be patched with only the changes since the last backup being transmitted to the storage platform. The Performance and Limits page presents options for processor and disk utilization, disk transfer limits, and free disk space allocation. For disk and processor utilization, the higher the setting, the faster a backup will complete, but the bigger impact the backup will have on the server resources. It is possible to limit the size and cycle backups that suffer from slow or unreliable WAN or Internet connections to the storage platform. This feature is also useful when backing up servers with limited free disk space. A minimum amount of free space on the volume of the working folders can be set so that data dumps during patching and compression do not cause problems on drives with a limited free space. Global filters allow you to exclude files according to their names, extensions, or age. For example, applying this filter will exclude any .bmp files from being selected. Alternatively, I could exclude the folder from selection. I can also specify file extensions that are already compressed so that they are processed faster to shorten the backup window. ADX5 Server Edition has the option of selecting whether binary patching or delta block patching is used. Binary patching compares files at the bit level and is the default method used by the client, and it is most effective in producing small patches. It works best when backing up large numbers of smaller files. Binary patching requires additional free space as it has a cache size equal to approximately 50% of the size of the selected data. Delta block patching compares files on a block level and is faster at backing up large databases. It only requires a footprint file using virtually no space in cache, but with larger patches than binary patching. It requires a faster connection to the storage platform if you have a limited backup window. You could choose to enable delta block patching on files larger than 5 GB, your SQL database for example, or files with a particular file extension. A binary patching threshold can be set. If a file has changed so much that the size of the patch reaches its limit, it may be more efficient to abort the patch and to compress and send the complete file. Where a file has been modified in such a way that it is not reflected in its size, timestamp, or file system, it can be added here for mandatory patching to ensure changes in such files are picked up. An example of this may be a file held open by an application. These open files are backed up by VSS without impacting the running application or corrupting the open file. This is found in applications such as Sybase and VMware. The amount of login information, its location and age can be configured here. The information in the backup and restore logs can also be viewed from the Client Log tab. The Advanced Options page presents the following. Always Connect option. This ensures that the storage platform has the very latest information on the client's backups. The backup process begins sending information to the storage platform before the compression and patching has completed. This is called concurrent backup processing and is enabled by default. You may want to turn this feature off if you have shut down some services, for example, to run the backup. Completing compression and patching first will enable you to concentrate all of the server's resources to finish the first part of the backup quickly so that the services can be brought back online. It is worth verifying the account limit before the backup starts to save time if there is an issue. VSS is enabled to back up open files and can also be used to update the cache. It is worth monitoring the event logs to make sure that this does not put too much additional strain on the server's resources. On supported NTFS volumes, the NTFS change journal can be used to speed up the backup selection process. It can very quickly identify those files that have changed since the last backup, as it does not have to scan the entire disk. With each backup, a marker is added to the NTFS change journal. Any added, modified or removed files can be identified from one marker to the next. This option is useful for selections of more than 100,000 files. Retry and timeout settings can be configured to control the way backups are retried before being automatically cancelled. I hope that you found this demonstration useful. For other demonstrations, explanations and product highlights from ADX 5, please go to www.adx5.com or email us at info@adx5.com.